I am Pastor John McLean, here with the man that is of the kings that lift up kings, Mr. Andreas Ruiz of I Believe in Myself Coaching.
Yes, sir. Gotta have kings to lift you up, man. You gotta have people that build you up, don't bring you down.
That's it.
For sure.
You need your support group, and we talked a lot about it, kind of before we even started the show, where, people like Zach Yenser and just, successful people we see in our lives that, you have good teams, good support groups around them that help them accomplish those goals, accomplish those tasks, accomplish, what it is, whatever it is, in their life that they're trying to get to. It's not as much as, we like to think of the idea of a self-made man. There's not really such a thing. It's it takes a village to raise a human. So so find your village, I guess is what we're saying.
Find your peeps.
Yep. But this would not be the Common Good Radio Show if I did not give grace to the leader of the village, a man who loves us all very much, kind of connects us all and reminds us that we are not lost, but we are connected through him. I like to call him God. Some people call him Allah. I think Jehovah. I think there's a lot of different names for him. Yeah. Just Harmony, Mother Earth. I don't know. There's a lot of different names. But I like to read the Lord's Prayer, and it goes a little something like this. Our Father who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
Amen.
Absolutely. So we have another awesome show for you, as we always do. We get to have somebody who's kind of starting to become a regular on this show, and Mr. Ron Arenas with Picture Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. And thank you once again for coming on and filling our listeners in on all their cooling, heating, and plumbing needs.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. And so definitely, I guess off the top, I mean, I feel like we've touched on this before, but kind of to just give our listeners a better understanding of kind of the particulars, because I know as much as, we all have an air conditioning system, we all have a cooling system, we think that we know what's going on until we have a problem.
Right. You don't care about it until it's not working.
Exactly. And then we realize, actually, we don't have any idea what we're talking about. So what is one of the most important factors, for an air conditioner to run properly or to run efficiently?
Right. Well, I wanted to start off, since you said that, isn't that a blessing that all of us actually have air conditioning, that we live in a society or a nation that we can be comfortable during these hot times or these really cold times.
Yes.
I mean, that is a blessing.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So one of the factors for an air conditioning to run properly or efficiently, the biggest factor is airflow. Both, I'm talking about airflow going through your air filter inside. You have to have a clean air filter so that you can have that airflow, that clean airflow going through your system, but also on your outdoor unit. You don't want any dirt, debris, dog hair, or plants growing up into your outside unit where it's going to block that airflow and prevent the heat transfer.
Interesting. And what is like some indicators that there's something going on with your airflow, something's off, or
it could be that your air conditioner is freezing up. That's one of the indications. Yeah, and that could just be a dirty filter.
Okay.
Yeah. If your air conditioner is not functioning properly, it could be a dirty coil outside too, and it could be something as simple as just spraying it off with the water hose, with the garden hose.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So let's just say, I'm just going to make up a theoretical situation. My air conditioner, it seems like it's blowing well, everything seems like it's running well, but it's not putting out cool air.
Okay.
What are some of the things that I should think about before I give you a call?
Right. Possibly your outdoor unit isn't running. It could be maybe a fuse or the circuit breaker has tripped. Could be something like that.
Is that more common than not?
It is a little bit more during this time of year with the monsoons.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes you get that power surge, and the air conditioner is trying to turn on at the same time with that power surge, and it might trip it. And it just might be something as simple as flipping the circuit breaker back on.
Nice.
Yeah. And as you were talking about how, when the AC unit freezes up, I remember that's what happened to me, and it was because of the air filter was too thick.
Yeah.
And because of that, it just wasn't running.
Right. You want a pleated filter, but you want the most inexpensive pleated filter that you can get, and then just change it every month.
Yeah, that's what I did. I had to just get the extra, like, not too thick ones, and it really worked. And now everything's running smoothly. The guy told me, he's like, you know what, it's too the airflow.
It's too dense. Yeah, it's
too
slowing
dense.
down the airflow.
Yeah, and because of that, what actually happened to my AC unit was there was a lot of water buildup, and I guess I had no idea, but there's like, I guess a little pipe that the water comes out of at the bottom, but I don't know if it's the bottom or the top, but now it's coming out of either the top, I think the top one, and that's the emergency one, I guess.
Oh yeah.
So
your condensate drains.
Yeah, so can you, I don't know, like, because I had no idea about that. I was like, wait, I didn't know this actually happened. It was clogged up, and then when it was finally fixed, like a lot of like really nasty stuff came out.
So in the probably the houses that were built in the last 30 years, you have, if your furnace and coil are up in the attic, then they built them with a primary condensate drain and a secondary condensate drain. Your primary condensate drain drains down almost at ground level.
Yeah.
And your secondary condensate drain is up high. And if you see that dripping, that means that your primary is clogged.
Mm-hmm.
So,
interesting.
Yeah. That's why they did it that way.
Interesting. Yeah, that's why I noticed too. I was like, wait, this is not, something's wrong here. So.
Yeah. And it's like we started off with, like, it's one of those things that you don't know until you know.
Right. Until it's happening.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And before I crack open another question, because I want to ask when we come back from the break, I guess it'll be a teaser. When we come back from the break, just stuff that people can prepare for in this season for the off season, for the winter season. So that'll be the teaser for you guys out there listening, for our plumbing fanatics that just need to know. But this is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean, here with Andreas Ruiz of I Believe Myself Coaching, and I believe he has a little message to share with you.
Yeah, so anybody that's interested in a workshop that I'm going to be having, actually a masterclass, to help you with your goals and your dreams, anything that you've been thinking about for weeks, months, years, maybe decades. It's called The Blueprint on How to Turn Goals into Achievement. It's based off my book, and I will give you very simple but yet powerful information that will help you start taking action towards that goal and that dream that you desire, so that you can find your life's purpose and leave a legacy behind. So if you're interested in joining us, you can send me an email at ibelievecal@gmail.com, or you can check out my website at ibelieveinmyself.org, and I can give you all the details. This is the Common Good Radio Show, brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. We'll be right back after this.
I'm Pastor John McLean, here with Mr. Andreas Ruiz of I Believe Myself Coaching and speaking and coaching, walking and talking at the same time.
Yes.
Yeah, that's it.
It's a skill set.
Yeah, that's it. So, welcome back. We have Rod Arenas here with Picture Rock, Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. And he definitely always gives us the good stuff. The thing I love having you on the show, Ron, is like we mentioned even at the beginning, is like, I've had an air conditioner most of my life. I've dealt with, plumbing, heating, cooling are a major factor in my life, yet you come on and you always give us good new stuff that I hadn't even thought about.
Oh, okay.
And kind of in that same vein, what's something that I'm not thinking about, or people don't think about, to prepare for the winter in this season, when you'd imagine this to be the most advantageous, most cost-effective time to kind of do some of that preparatory work for the winter?
Well, probably in the fall. You were talking, or I think we maybe mentioned about the pipes. You always want to make sure that your exterior pipes are wrapped, and that way they don't freeze. That's one good thing. And then in the fall also, before it gets cold, probably October or maybe early November, get your furnace serviced. Just make sure that everything is safe and ready to work for you when we do have a cold night.
Yeah. And as you're talking about all that stuff, I was going to ask you in regards to like the plumbing for people who have, for example, for me, we have like that underground plumbing, I guess. I even got a letter from somebody saying that, you can get some type of insurance, like for plumbing that's underground that, that you're responsible. It's on your property.
Right. Yeah. So from the water meter to your house, you're responsible for everything.
Yeah. So like for people like that, like what would you say? Is there like a type of service or any type of like, tips that you would give those people?
No. I mean, and it depends on what kind of materials they used for that water main, but most of those last at least 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Nice. Yeah. Well, what would you say is like the most common call you get this time of year?
For plumbing or air conditioning?
Let's say air conditioning.
Air conditioning, it'd be air conditioning's not cooling or not cooling efficiently. Yeah.
And I guess there's like a wide plethora of issues.
Yeah. It could be one of 50 different things.
It could be a filter,
right.
a fuse, or a breaker.
Right.
Yeah,
or it could be a combination of a few little things that turned into a big thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What would you suggest to a homeowner? When is the point where they should definitely pick up the phone and call before they start fiddling around with stuff? Or they should not fiddle around with stuff at all? And just
other than changing your air filter, making sure that that's clean. Yeah, if your temperature starts climbing and it's above your set temperature, or if it's just not cooling at all, then that's time to get on the phone and try to get someone out there as quickly as possible.
Nice.
Yeah. And then like, for example, with the outside units, because I know that people have some units on the top or on the outside, with making sure like what are the things that you need to be changing on a consistent basis, like to make sure that air conditioning, is working well, like the outside part, like the coils, or what is it that
right.
needs to be
Yeah, there's
replaced?
nothing really that you need to change on it. You just need to make sure that there's proper airflow going through there. So you need to make sure that the surrounding area is clear of plants or anything that could block the airflow, because you're trying to take heat out of there. You're doing a heat transfer.
What type of clearance are you looking at on that unit?
Probably just about a foot.
A foot?
Yeah,
Okay.
a foot all the way around it. Yeah.
Yeah, so definitely just nothing nothing up against it.
Right. Yeah,
So-
nothing up against it.
Yeah.
Sometimes dogs lay up against it, and just because it's sucking air through there, it's going to suck some of their fur off of there, and then it just builds up.
Yeah.
My dog doesn't lay on it; he pees on it. So
yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's very
it's
corrosive.
popular. Okay.
Yeah.
It's very, very corrosive.
And what is there anything you can do to minimize that? Is there anything you do to deal with it once it's happened? Because I've definitely seen it dozens of times in my life.
Right.
So.
Yeah, I mean, there's nothing you can do once it happened, but you try to maybe block the dog from getting over there. Maybe put a little fence around it or something. Yeah.
Interesting. And I don't think we've ever talked about it on this show. We talk about it. It's a big thing, kind of just in the essence of Picture Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, the makeup of your business. Who runs Picture Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing, and
Right.
And how Picture Rock Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing is as much as amazing local business that can handle all those needs. It's a family business.
It is a family business.
Yeah.
I started it 21 years ago.
Nice.
My wife works in the back office, and I have two of my sons working for me. They're both techs in trucks, and then we have other technicians that are in their own trucks also. But, yeah.
Nice. That's awesome. And what inspired you to start this company? Like,
I was working for a couple other small companies, and I just felt that I could do it better and do it with honesty and integrity.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, and then with honesty and integrity, I think it's really important, because I've had my fair share of people that I've had over for AC, plumbing, and man, honestly, it was just not
Right.
like yeah. So I mean, I think like for yourself, like what would you say like it would be something that you could like let people know about, like honesty and integrity when it comes to business? Like what have you done to make sure that you keep that going, that honesty and that integrity?
Well, I review all the invoices that come in. They're all electronic, so when we email you as a customer, and when we email you your invoice, I also get a copy of it on the email. So I look over everything, and we constantly do training. We had training this morning. You know, we're not going to sell you anything that you don't need, but we're trying to solve the problems that you have, whether it's heating, cooling, or plumbing, and we're trying to give you the best options for you, and then you can decide which way you want to go.
Yeah, nice. And it's, I guess, kind of as we start jumping out of here, how can listeners contact you? And how can they, find out what you guys are into?
Right. They could call us at 520-440-4069 or go to picturerockscooling.com.
Okay, and tell the number one more time.
520-440-4069.
And I'm guessing you guys do the social media and all that kind of fun stuff?
We do. We're on social media. Yep.
Okay, so that's Picture Rocks Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing.
Yes.
Right? Yep. Cool. Well, thank you once again, Ron.
Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah,
thank you.
It's always awesome to have you on, and maybe one of these times have one of your sons on.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
I definitely just thinking of it. It's interesting. I've never met your sons, but in the future I definitely want to talk about the honor it must be working with your sons. Me and Andreas both having boys ourselves.
Right. It is. It's fun.
Yeah, that's super cool. Well, thanks once again, brother.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, this is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with Mr. Andreas Ruiz with his Kings Lift Up Kings shirt. So I'm feeling especially supported today.
Thank you, Ray Cook. I got it from her.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Cool. So, but if you have not been to veteranrescuemission.org yet, please go there today. We're looking for whatever proceeds we can possibly get to help our homeless veteran transition program, Veteran Rescue Mission. We're especially looking for cars, RVs, and unused vehicles. We have veterans regularly asking for vehicles to get to their appointments or just to get to their new jobs. So go to veteranrescuemission.org, check out our Veteran Rescue Mission transition program and our shelter Veteran Rescue Mission, and also check out all the ways that you can help us connect veterans with the housing and the benefits that they need. This is the Common Good Radio Show brought to you by Veteran Rescue Mission. I'm Pastor John McLean here with Andreas Ruiz. We'll be right back.
Andres Ruiz alongside the Jonathan Lee McLean.
Thank you, Mother.
Pastor Jonathan Lee McLean. Yeah. Not the diehard, no.
That's John McLean.
This guy's better.
I don't
than
know. I
diehard.
wonder if his name is Jonathan McLean. I never really. I wonder what the diehard guy's middle name is.
I don't know. Maybe we're gonna have to look that up, man.
Yeah,
Wikipedia. Yeah, but yeah, this is the Common Good Radio Show, and we're back here with a good friend of mine, Juan J.D. Delgado, with Roofs Are Hot.
Yeah, he rocks.
Hey, how you doing?
Yes.
How you fellas doing?
Man, I'm doing great, man.
Awesome.
I love your energy, dude.
Yeah,
That's
in
not-
my world, J.D. Delgado's a rock star.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I talk about him as much as I do anybody in my household, really. Yeah, you'll see. When you meet my wife, J.D., you'll see she'll be like, man, he won't shut up about you. Yeah, so thank you for being
So now
here.
I'm blushing.
Yeah, good. Oh, do it. The video
There
people
you go.
can
I'm
see.
blushing.
Yes, you see J.D. Delgado blushing.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes. Yeah, man. So thanks for being on the show again. And, I know this time of year, man, it's probably the busiest time of year. And I know that every time that I see you, like at the Sands Club or networking events, you start telling people, hey, it's time to start getting prepared because, the rain is coming, monsoon, all that good stuff. And, what would you say, like, during this time of year, like, what are the most frequent calls that you get, like, throughout this time of the year?
So the calls that I get, homeowners already know they have a problem. And so it's just procrastination, and I'm guilty of it also. And so they already know they have a problem. Now it's like, all right, I need to get somebody to look at it professionally and get on it to find out what I need to do to get it fixed. So that's probably one of the most common calls that I get, and that could be in a lot of different scenarios. But the brush stroke, that's a one that I get in regards to that. And then another one is just a roof inspection. Just getting somebody up there to look on the roof to see what's going on, because the roofing standard or roofing maintenance consists of getting up on your roof or doing a visual inspection. They say 3 times, but it could be 2 times a year.
Okay. Oh, really?
So yeah, you get up there and you see what's going on, because what can happen a lot of times is, because of a storm or whatever it is, debris, branches, rocks, whatever, they can be thrown up or fall on your roof, and it creates a gash, or it breaks a tile, or it rips a shingle off, or wind rips a shingle off, and you won't even know it. And unless you get up there, or with these with the flat roofs, with the parapet walls that are up, debris will get actually clogged up in there. So when the monsoons hit, I mean, we get freaking gallons and gallons of water going through these scuppers, and if they're plugged up, man, there's literally a freaking swimming pool. I've seen it before, man. There's like, 2 feet high.
Oh man,
2 feet high, and if that stays too long, it's just gonna freaking drop. It'll just drop right wherever, inside the house, garage, whatever, and then that happens. So it's important that you get up there and check it out, clean your roof, and see what's happening.
When you say like clean your roof, like would you recommend, or what kind of tips would you give like a homeowner to kind of keep it maintained, or what are your thoughts?
The easy way is brush, a blower, blow it off, brush it off. I mean, the best way. And another one is a power washer, except for like if you have a shingle roof or a slope roof. Of course, you don't want to be like you're trying to power washer. You're gonna go right off the roof with your power washer. He told me to go up there with my power washer. Yeah. But yeah, so like I said, just going up there and checking it out. I mean, seeing what's going on, what's clogging your scuppers, or in the valleys, debris, blowing it out, sweeping it out, just making sure. So this is the thing. The perfect roof has a slope with nothing obstructing the water from getting off the slope. That's a perfect. I mean, of course, you got to put. There's going to be, skylights, pipe jacks, ACs, or whatever. But that's the perfect roof, is having a nice, clean surface with the waterfalls on it. Just it offloads off. Quick, easy. You want the water to flow off the roof as quick as possible. So just keeping that in mind. That's the basic foundation.
And something that's coming to mind, kind of as you're saying this, particularly when you want to check your roof 2 to 3 times a year, is that something you suggest an individual do, or should they call you guys, or call a professional up at least to get up there and fool around on the roof at least a couple times a year?
So if you look it up online, the number one leading death of accidents at a home is on a ladder.
Oh, dude, don't get me started, bro. Because when I put the lights up, man, I'm scared. One time I was up there for, I don't know, like 15 minutes, man, trying to get off. And dude, I was up there. I was like, I hope the neighbor doesn't come out and see me out here. But
you were terrified?
Dude, I'm terrified of heights. And my wife sometimes laughs. She's looking at me and she's like, and like, dude, it's not funny. I'm like,
you should make her switch places. Make her put up the lights.
I think so.
or pay somebody.
Yeah.
Pay somebody to do it. And so that's what it comes down to.
Wow.
A lot of they just want to do it yourself. But when it comes right down to it, that's one of the leading causes of death is falling off the ladder. And it's not even a high ladder. It's just it's coming right down. It's like, man, you got like 3 steps to go, and you're like, oh man, I'm down. That's when it happens. That's when it happens. Yeah. So I mean, of course, I recommend you hire a professional and so forth. But I mean, some people are just going to do it. You're just be careful. Just be careful in regards to that, because that's when it happens is when you're getting on the roof from the ladder, and getting off the roof from the ladder.
Well, just even as you're describing, like getting up there with even a brush or a blower, like that, I could see myself doing that, but I could also see myself killing myself by doing that. So yeah, I can see giving you guys a call and having you guys check and handle those things rather than myself, because sometimes I forget about my limitations, but they do exist.
Oh yeah. I mean, for everybody, for me too. So funny story, when I first started in the roofing business, I went to do a roof inspection on a loft over by the U of A. So it was a loft. So the roof was like 20 feet. And it was when I first started. So, and it was I didn't realize.
This is Andres, your host, and your other host, John McClain, the Pastor John McClain.
Yes.
And we have the powerhouse Juan J.D. Delgado that brings the energy all the time, brings the charisma and the excitement to
That's
the
correct.
radio.
That is very correct.
Yeah, man, it's and you know, he kind of left us with a little cliffhanger. And he was talking about being at the loft. I don't know, he was like about 20 feet tall. And tell us the rest of the story.
Well, first, I'm still blushing by all the compliments you're giving me. So.
Oh, yeah. No, dude.
You're just a good dude.
Yeah, you really do bring the energy. Doesn't he bring the energy?
And I mean, just like I say regularly to people, like, I didn't wake up yesterday a pastor. I mean, I'm not, I've lived a life, you've lived a life, you've been through some stuff for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But this man that you became, I'm proud to hang out with and call a friend. So, I'm going to just call it what it is.
Yeah,
I appreciate it.
And John, he talks more about you than he does anybody else.
Okay, now you're putting it on. No, but thank you though.
Yeah.
So, all right, so with this story, this is when I first started. So I have my ladder, and I have one of those foldable gorilla ladders. So I put this ladder up, and I'm like, all right, get up on the roof. And it was kind of steep, didn't look too bad. I was like, all right. So it reached up there, and it was within the guidelines, over.
Yeah.
So I get up on the roof, and what I do is when I get up on the roof, you want to go all the way up to the peak. So you just go, you don't want to stick around. You just go all the way up to the peak, and then you start doing your inspections, taking pictures. So I do that, and I climb up, and I go all the way up to the peak. I start taking my pictures, looking at my visual, and I'm like, damn, this is a pretty steep roof. Didn't realize it, because, I just climbed right up.
Yeah.
And now I'm like, all right. And then I started noticing when I was walking around doing my inspection, a granule loss, and this is very common with shingle roofs. It's a granule loss because they put granules on the shingles to protect them from the elements and so forth, and to reflect the sun. So it creates a better so it just keeps the house cooler. So the granules were falling. I mean, there was major granule loss, and so now I'm having to get down. It's like freaking, it's like sand on paper.
No.
I'm serious. I mean, like, my freaking feet were just, like, you could just hear it. Like dude, sand on paper. You could just hear it, just sliding. And I'm like,
God.
I'm like, all right, I'm going to slide right off. Because I was looking at the ladder. I'm like, I'm going to slide right past that ladder, over the ladder, onto the floor.
That's scary.
And then I'm thinking, all right, so I'm going to have to call a fire department. I'm going to have to call 911 or something to get me off the roof.
Dude.
So I'm like, oh, how embarrassing. And there was nobody else. So it's like, I'm sitting up there thinking. So I finally, what I figured out, I actually crawled on my back. I went on my back because I figured if I started sliding, I'd just like fall down, lay on my butt, or I would lay on my back so I wouldn't completely slide off. But I did make it off by the grace of God.
Oh my God!
So yeah, I definitely said a prayer. I was praying right there. But yeah, it was quite an embarrassing time for me. But I've talked to other roofers before where they've actually done inspections, and the ladders actually it falls off, and then they have to yell at the neighbor or call somebody to pick up the ladder. So yeah, it's funny.
And speaking about the neighbors, because the other day, was passing by the neighborhood, was walking, and how you can see the neighbors' roofs. Some of the neighbors, I could see that they had some of their, I don't know if it's their shingles or something. They were falling apart. Like they're not falling apart, but they fell off, and the roof didn't seem like good. I think some shingles were missing or whatever it was. But like, if you see that, like, what would you say to the people that if you're seeing in your neighborhood that type of
that's
damage?
Wind damage, and that's actually a documented where you can actually file a claim with your insurance if there's enough wind damage. They'll actually pay to have that fixed. And an important thing to check in regards to that, especially before monsoon season, is checking your insurance policy to see what type of deductible you have. Because if it's say $3,000 or $4,000 to fix that area or fix that roof, and you have a $2,000 deductible or a $3,000 deductible, you're only going to get like $1,000 to fix it. So you know, it's and a lot of times what I've been running into, a lot of times homeowners don't even know what their deductible is, and then right now they're doing they're actually it's a percentage of what your home value is. That's what their deductible is.
That's what they're basing it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
So you mean if it's a if you bought the house for 200, now it's with the high value of homes, it's a 350. I mean, you're looking at that's a big deductible, 2%. That's what $7,000 deductible right there.
Yeah. So for those people that
not so but
like
go ahead.
Yeah, I'm not good at math either. So.
Yeah.
But so with that, that right there, like, what would you tell the people? I mean, would you tell them to call their insurance company to up that, or what would you suggest to people?
Just call them up just to find out exactly what their deductible is and what they're comfortable with. Because a lot of times, I mean, if people have the money in the bank, then go for a high deductible. You're gonna have a lower payment, but a lot of times, a lot of homeowners, they don't have $3,000 or $5,000 in their bank, just available if something happens. So, you gotta go with a lower deductible.
Yeah. And in regards to like deductibles and all that, you're talking about how it's wind damage. It's like, it sounds like it's natural causes that the deductibles help you out with. What if it's something that there is going on indoors, like inside the roofs? Like, what is there a deductible for that, or how do people resolve that?
So this is how it works. So it's an act of God. So it has to be related to storm damage, to an act of God. And insurance, what I've seen is insurance adjusters or companies will not insure your roof if it's because of preventative maintenance, and that's why the preventative maintenance is important. So if you have a flat roof where you've never cleaned it off and there's a bunch of debris that tore up the roof and so forth, they're going to be like, well, you haven't been maintaining the roof, or we're not going to pay for any damage or so forth. And with the inside damage, that's another part of the problem. And I really don't I don't do like mold remediation or water damage or dry outs like that. So I pretty much just work on the roofing claims.
Yeah.
And so if I do have to do that, I outsource to another agency that I work with.
Yeah. So and then in regards to like the roof, where people like keeping that maintenance, like what does that look like for the people that are wanting to get maintenance? Like, how many times a year? What's the cost, or how does that work?
Well, if you have a flat roof, I mean, the power washing it once a year is more than adequate. So with the shingle roof or the other roofs, once a year going up, I mean, if twice a year is the best. Just making sure the valleys, the gutters, scuppers, those other areas are cleaned out. Just getting up there, or calling us, and I can get somebody out there to do that, for a minimal fee. And then if there are any issues that need to be done, we take pictures and let you know, say, hey, it's cracked right here. So we're going to need to add some roofing material and, just do a patch to this area. So, and what maintenance usually looks like is you seal all the penetrations and all the high areas of water infiltration. So the areas where the valleys, the scupper areas, any ponding areas and so forth. And ponding is very common, especially with the older flat roofs. It's just going to happen because of gravity. And a lot of times people are like, oh, it's fine. Well, if it's not leaking, it's just an old roof. It's just, everything starts sagging after years and years, everything starts sagging.
Yeah, that's what they say.
Yep. So yeah. But,
it's funny. Back in
house,
I think I shared with you, back in the day, I was a pool and landscape contractor. And being a pool contractor, I saw some of the craziest pools. Like, particularly from a repair standpoint, having to repair a pool that looks like it's going to have an alligator crawling out of it any second. I've dealt with some stuff. Yeah. What type of horror stories or horror story do you have, and for yourself, stuff that you've had to deal with, or stuff that you saw going looking at a roof?
Oh my gosh, dude! I've seen I've seen ecosystems under roofs, especially the tile roofs, like out in the desert.
Oh
I
my
mean,
God.
with the rats, bats, bees. I mean, you lift those tiles up, there, everything's underneath there.
Yeah.
Guys, actually, this past year, man, there was a lot of trees that fell onto the roofs and onto homes.
Oh my God.
That was crazy. But I've seen. Actually, I did a roof. This roof actually had almost 5 layers of roofing. It was built in like 1950s. 5 layers, man. That thing. I swear, that thing was like this. It was like what, about 3-4 inches? I think. Yeah, a roof.
Instead of taking off the last layer, they just added another.
Oh yeah,
on top
just
of it.
add, just add, just keep going. Yeah, so we'll rip it off. But yeah, and then
Then the weight. Yeah.
actually, there was one roof. This was actually crazy. It was about 3 years ago, and remember, we didn't get rain for like 2 months. It was right before monsoon. We didn't get rain for like 2 or 3 months. And this roof had multiple. It was a flat roof, and it had multiple layers. And what they did was they had one roof, and then they put the wood on top of the other roof, and then they roofed on top of that. So when we started pulling up, there was actually water underneath that. And it hadn't rained for like 2 months.
Oh my God.
There was water trapped in between it. I was like, so it was getting in, and then it was ponding in there. But yeah, it was crazy. It was like,
Wow, that's
tell-
insane. Yeah.
Tell our listeners how they can get a hold of you and how they can connect with Rooster House.
the best way to get a hold of me is you can call or text me on my direct number. My direct number is 444-3178.